into some big issues in these clutch moments, right? As Magvea said in the earlier cast, a lot of these teams that are just one win away from qualifying are running into some problems here, and that's why we have so many tiebreakers coming out. That competitive element of play-ins gets stronger every single year, and at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want the most competitive region to create our best players and talent moving up.
And in these tiebreaker situations, these tense, high-pressure moments of League of Legends, you fall back on your veterans. Nigma Galaxy have Parbu in the jungle, who has played for longer than I've been playing League of Legends, longer than I've been watching it, it feels like. And really, I'm hoping that Nigma can lean on him as a voice for the team to say, okay, you know, I've been in this sort of position before, right? I'm more than familiar with how I want to be playing out this game, how we need to keep everybody level-headed, and keeping a straight face on while they start out these games. Obviously, if you start to get a little bit ahead, you can start feeling it a bit more. But it's important to make sure that you're going in neutral to this game so that you can put yourself in the best possible position to take the win.
We have the waves crashing in here. Jungle starting on opposite sides. Rilek could potentially path up to that top side to try and affect top lane again. Parbu is on the blue buff, but honestly, you can't really be sure where he's going to go. The Lee Sin kind of kooky pathing methods that can try and go for invades, try and counter invade, try and counter gank. There's a lot of options with this champion, the mobility that it has and the speed that it can get around the map.
The thing that we don't want to see is full clear Lee Sin. That's just the epitome of depression for most casters looking at a Lee Sin, specifically when you've got what looks to be a pushing bot lane and a pushing mid lane as well. You can see Sonic is getting torn apart.
Ooh. There's a stun in there. No electrocute, so no burst to get him over the line, but it is so much damage. No Doran shield, no extra HP for the Ahri, burning through those corrupting potion stacks very, very quickly.
Still has one tick. Great buffer from Nash down on that bot side. One of those nice things that you can do with Nautilus, a little bit like Ezreal E. Just get yourself out of CC if you know that it's going to connect on you. Boda dashed forward here.
He wanted to get himself into that position. Still loses out on the trade slightly, and the wave is slowly approaching his side of the map. There is no Lee Sin on that side, though, so we can't look for a potential gank to stop that pressure. The hook lands in the bot lane. Nash and Itanov trying to fire back. That Nautilus, though, not particularly tanky, and has to flash away with the Ignite burning on him.
Not sure what's happened down on this bot side, but Itanov still level 1. You can see Nash level 2, so there's been some experience missed. At the very least, it looks like quite a bit as well. Finally able to now use that Blade Caller. Would have definitely been nice when we saw that earlier engagement from Nash. However, it doesn't really matter now. He's lost a lot of HP and earned his flash defensively. Looking through the Lee Sin's pathing to sort of keep our eyes on. Broad watching a little bit here. It may well be that full clear Lee Sin, unfortunately.
That's his last camp.
And, oh no. You know what? No invaders come through. If it's a swift base into double longsword angle, maybe putting in a couple snoozes.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. He's going onto the other side of the map. He's going to kill someone.
The full clear. Let's go.
Let's go. Look at that clear speed coming out. Straight onto the scuttle. All right, he's going to 2v2 mid. He's going to get a double kill. It's all going to be worth it. Clowns is ready and waiting as Rilek is on vision right now. They know the Sejuani is in the area, but that really just dissuades action rather than causing it.
Gets a recall for the Hast. Will just likely teleport back into this mid lane and be more than free to continue to put down that harassment that we've seen from Zonix. And worth mentioning as well, whilst we saw Zonix taking some really awful trades in that mid lane, hasn't really fallen too far behind on experience, or on CS rather, feeling more than fine in that department. Nice to see the early boot or early itemizations from both of these mid laners, right? You've got Darkseer from the Hast feeling a little bit of momentum in the laning phase plus the boots. And of course, Zonix likely also working towards those Mercury treads just for a bit of staying power in the laning phase. Syndra, champion who's always had a good lane, but with the recent rework, just has a really strong late game as well.
Now, Parbu did complete that full clear, went and got himself a pickaxe, and then walked through the top lane. But I believe there is still a ward in that river brush, so they're aware the Lee Sin is up there. As we get more pips of more camps being cleared by Parbu, as the engage is coming in from bot side once again. Nash can't get in range for those Nautilus autos to set them up for a potential Blade Caller. The hook goes wide as well, and Rusting Clowns stay in control here. Rilek is not far from the area.
Big fan of how the NGX bot lane have been playing specifically Rust, never giving an option for Itanov to find that Blade Caller, find that route, set up a potential layering of CC. Emperos and Boda, both very low.
Oh, this is going to be it. Someone's dying at the end of this one. He goes to Counter-Strike. One more Empower can do it. Flash away from Emperos. Gets away from the knock-up. Boda might have realized what he's done here, and it's another first blood for Jax. It took a little longer, but here comes that same old story.
Every single time. For those unfamiliar, once again, we'll tell the story because it just needs to be told. Emperos 1 year ago had the name Jax Plank, was a Jax Gangplank 2 trick, and got those champions banned away from him pretty much every single game he played in the NLC regular season. Just because you change your name doesn't mean you suddenly get awful at those champions. Jax had been banned from Emperos every single game up until the one that we'd seen him play up against NGX just last game. Albu face checking as well.
He's suffering right now in the 1v1 versus Sejuani. He does have the rotation from Syndra. They've got ults ready in the mid lane. A Spirit Rush over the wall. Zonix looking for a charm, but Clowns is first on the rotation from bot. And Dsyre are aware of this. They'll simply back away, but they get that Ariel off deck.
I think that's really important for NGX and actually opens up a window now for them to try and punish in this mid lane. Has never used the ulti during that engagement, and now an Ahri with no ulti, still without Mercury Treads, definitely susceptible to at the very least having burned that flash. His top lane.
Oh, they're going down, they're going under the tower, the all-out from the Cassante, flashing for Boda, and he claps back! Just like that, this lane is not over.
Cassante is getting kills under their own turret. You get caught by a Q3 and then slight shunt behind into the all-out into your turret. A tale as old as Cassante, honestly, people have still been getting caught out by that Emperos, unfortunately no different, and it equalizes that top lane matchup, making sure that we're not going to see the exact same outcome as we had last time these two teams met.
Crashing this wave into that top lane turret. Doesn't stick around. I believe he still does get the plate gold because he was recently there enough, but that is a nice lead for him, for the Cassante. Very bold for Boda to opt back into that matchup. We were surprised to see him do it. We had our doubts, especially when the first blood happened, but all credit to him. He has stabilized up there. It's not looking like it's going to be the absolute catastrophe that it was last time around. And as you pointed out in the pregame, Rudude, that was the main issue, right? The rest of the map was fairly even. It was just the 5, 6, 7k difference in topside, and Nigma Galaxy are looking like they're set up to have a better shot at this one. As Pabu is in the area, this is dangerous positioning for Jax.
Yeah, and he's spot kick as well.
Over the wall. He sees what's happening. Emperos doesn't have flash. Pabu surely be able to get a range here. Looks for the resonating strike. Flashes, just holds it to make sure it's guaranteed for the kill. And now it's Nigma Galaxy taking control of top lane.
And Pabu, the one imparting his impact into that lane, makes his presence felt. We saw it was Rillish last time out, making a lot of ganks happen on that Maokai. However, this time round, good to see that Pabu makes his presence felt again. Lee Sin at level 6, you're always looking for how well those ultis are used. A little bit of a Nocturne effect, not quite as important to the Lee Sin, but still has that same level of impact. Once you hit level 6, your skirmishing power very, very strong. And a really well-played gank on that top side. Gives zero counterplay to Emperos. Flashes in for the kick. Knows that he can then land the resonating strike afterwards. But fast rotation from Dsyre.
Ooh, without a splash, without an ultimate, he's very vulnerable, and Zonix is there. The electrocute proc picks up the kill. Lovely punish from Dsyre as the Herald is stopped. And now they have some leads of their own to play with. Nash rotating up as well. The Rel on the way. They're looking to catch on to Boda first.
Ulti now.
He's got no flash. Does have the ult ready to go all out to push someone under that tower again. You can see Dsyre trying to play around it, but the Jax is still sectioned off. He can potentially win this 1v1, or can he? There is a Cassante moment on the cards. They'll just disengage.
Yeah, and there's that always really weird game of chicken that you try and play with a Cassante up against a wall. You never want to be up against it, but by moving away, you're also giving him a little bit of an angle to potentially escape. Dsyre, though, they come away with a kill. They stop the Herald as well from Pabu. For the time being, at the very least, it looks like they can just head on right back to it and take it for themselves with pushing the mid lane as well for the Haas. Looks like a plate going to go over to NGX, and lost there was a kill. Oh,
bot lane. They're going crazy with it. They also traded flashes as well. Isonoth wants one more auto. Can he get in range? Rust steps back up for it. Potentially trying to hit the Decathian Rain. Almost serves himself up to die. He will escape. And there goes the Herald down for Pabu. Oh, Emperos. Yeesh, we've stuck around in about. Do they know he's here?
Who knows who's here? That's the question.
Yeah. Do they have the critical information? They thought they had a 2v1. Turns out it's a 3v2. And down goes the flash and the Jax. Magnet Storm pulls in Sejuani, but he's got the tower to retreat to.
Top lane clown card there. We've got only imaginary 2 people to begin with. And then all of a sudden, 3 more people spring out from the woodwork. Nobody dies. And flash is burned from clowns, from Emperos alike. So again, advantage going over to NGX with that play. You'd much rather trade your flash for your support for that flash, that top laner, and Emperos in particular on this Jax. Looking at those mid lane builds, though, those Merc Treads have been completed. So for the time being, very much vegan mid laners. Not going to be dealing a right load of damage until those first mythics have come through. And with an 1100 gold pit stop, that is going to be delayed.
And you know me, rude dude. If I see an Everfrost into Banshees, I'm gonna lose it, you know, on this Ari. I'm gonna have a problem. The Everfrost I can excuse.
Ruby crystal. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh,
Everfrost
dear.
I can excuse, but give me a Shadow Flame, give me even a Horizon Focus, all right? Just do not hit me with a Banshees this late in the day.
And I think especially with the Merc Treads already picked up, I would like to think that we're safe.
Yeah,
on Sonic's
surely
side.
we're fine.
Yeah, we've seen some things. Okay, we can never count our chickens before they've hatched. So I'm gonna bite my tongue until these items have come through. Now, Boda on that top side doing much better in this matchup. We've highlighted it time and time again, but it's worth reminding everybody that the reason this game went Dsyre's way in the last game these two teams played was because of this top lane. Everything else was largely even. There wasn't particularly a hair to separate the bottom side for members of the map. It was just Emperos running absolute god. Oh, God. Okay.
Missing the ultimate. Boda again threatening onto Emperos. Doesn't have the flash, doesn't have minions to jump to. Gets to an enemy, but it's not in time. Boda completely flipping the script up here.
And it may not be Emperos coming away with the absolute slaughter, but it may well be a top diff once again. Boda now 2 levels up on the Jax. Had that completed Sunfire Aegis, one of those just press tab moments. Because you're fighting item versus no item. And Emperos gets slapped.
It does. And now we've got a 3v3 in the bot side once again. I don't think they know. It's not the best engage from Clowns. Bladecore doesn't find anyone either. Papu's in to secure the kill on Tanash. In come the top laners. Boda and Emperos looking to get out of that lane. As Nigma Galaxy tried to escape, both supports going down. Papu on the re-engage, but he's stunned against the wall. Has to flash to safety. No one can catch him. The Hast as well, you can see, ran into the wrong side of Ari in the river. Dsyre to 1-for-1. They end up pushing Nigma back.
And I think that because of that mid lane trade, Dsyre are going to look to start up this dragon. 2 levels down still. Boda doesn't have his ulti, but definitely has enough damage to try and pump out a contest for this dragon.
Onyx rotating down again. Dahas with no TP is not going to be here for this play. Papu is low. He walks into a stun, into a charm. It could get rough for him. Aetonos there with a blade caller. But they might just be flipping the objective. It's picked up by Sejuani. Now Clowns is around the corner, but they've caught one already. The Kai'Sa is down, and Nigma Galaxy don't feel good about this no more. First dragon of the game over to Dsyre.
And of all people in that stack, it's Rust that gets caught by the Charm Flash there from Zonix. Really well played from the Ahri in this mid lane, looking to catch out targets again with the Charm. Not necessarily keeping himself safe, but trading back that damage effectively. And Zonix is going to need a little bit of help here in this mid lane if he wants to get a decent recall anytime soon. Dahas still has ulti, so Ahri really not safe.
Yeah, Clowns taking an aggressive stance behind the turret there. Just to force him back, deny some of that CS. Syndra does have a nice CS lead to build, but hasn't really been able to affect the map in the same way Zonix has on both top and bot side. Down comes the Herald. Try and keep accelerating this mid laner. Rilek is there to cover. Stunned up, hooked up by the Resonating Strike. Out it goes, one more plate picked up. And this mid lane turret's not looking healthy.
Not sure who's calling for this, but I'm really happy with the team play that NGX are putting down. Dahast has Zonix sort of throttled in this mid lane. Up in items, up on mana and health, can permanently trade up against the Ahri, and if you can constantly force her under turrets, you can start to miss more creeps and then fall further behind. But it requires support from your team. You can see that Pabu Clowns both make their way into the mid lane, help out with this effort of keeping the Ahri down. They know the Jax is already behind the curve. If they can do the same thing to the Ahri, you're eliminating 2 of the 3 threats. That's a very good way to go about winning a game of League.
And with the way that the plays from Nigma Galaxy have been coming about so often, Pabu has been at the heart of them, right? With these lane ganks into top and bot lane, the Herald plays in mid. It does feel like the veteran of Pabu is stepping up to lead this team in this all-important tiebreaker on a very strong, active early pick that can affect all the lanes as much as possible, get the leads that his team need to carry it through to the end. We'll see if this Oath legend can complete the comeback for Nigma here against Dsyre. Down goes first turret. Boda at least has solved the issues from the first time these two teams played earlier today, or the second time I should say. And now can be that threat K'Sante is, can be that K'Sante copy pasta, potentially, that we see so much of.
Looking for a potential 4-man dive on this bot side. Sonic's not actually going to commit to the roam, doesn't want to fall further behind the Hast. He already is, but does have that Everfrost already completed, so a temporary item advantage in this mid lane for Dsyre. And really, lurking around here. Don't think they're going to be able to find really anything. Those Mercury Treads will keep the Syndra nice and safe. Do want to remind everybody of the stakes of this tiebreaker game. Obviously, both of these teams 3 and 3. The winner of this will secure themselves a spot in the top 2. which puts them second seed for our knockout seeding on Friday. Pabu caught.
Ooh, lovely charm into the CC changer. They have the damage to kill him, though. Looks like they just about do, but he gets away with a kill back, and now comes Boda around the corner. You don't want to let this Cassante start cooking in the mid lane. It was a great catch from Dsyre. A good clutch factor from Nigma to get one back, and they're still keeping the push on mid.
Yeah, Emperos might have had to teleport to this mid lane to try and save it, but this is the thing with this Ahri build. Unfortunately, one Orb of Deception doesn't clear the backline. You've got Everfrost, you've got Merc Treads. There's no Sork Shoes, no extra boost of damage from the Mythic. So Zonyx struggling on the wave clear means that large wave is able to be pushed in. Tier 1 turret taken down. But now Emperos with Flash.
And look to try and punish here. Syndra gets on top of him with no problem. Everfrost doesn't land, but surely they've got enough between the two of them. Zonyx is there, and Jax can get himself out of that lane. Has managed to pick up 3 kills for himself over the course of this game, even though it has not been the dominance of before.
And once again, we're getting to see the power of those Mercury Treads, the Charm, the Everfrost, both going wide because of that increased tenacity on the Hast's side. Starting up this Rift Herald might be risky. They've got the Nash Roam, but Zonyx is in base, and with Boda, oh, well, quite strong. Could have been a threat, but Parbu's down on his red buff, so you'll have to, unfortunately, forget everything I just said.
Done. Dusted. It's gone. Never heard it. As down goes the Herald for Dsyre. Now the TP onto bot lane. The cross-map play has been rebuffed. Good route onto Rust. Gets the cleanse out as well. And Zonyx once more. He's been so active this game. Lands the charm, but Parbu over the wall. The flash is a traded, but he can't find the kick. Itonov does go down on the tower. The root is there. The tower shot stacking up. That tower is heated up beyond belief. And Zonyx goes for the triple on the counterplay.
That is gorgeous. Dsyre counter-punching there. Everything that NGX wanted to pump on out. One single teleport turns the play back around. Itonov solo under this turret. Uses what I thought would be a Feather Storm a little bit too early, but it actually catches Rust with a root. Forces this cleanse early. Means he doesn't have it for this fight off the back. Really good target selection from Zonyx there. Taking out the Rel so there's no more CC to come down. And Rust just not quite strong enough yet at this point. Zonyx playing with that range as well, so that the Kai'Sa could never really deal any DPS. And coming on in, getting those resets, taking down a double kill, and turning that play right on around.
Yes, alternator for Zonyx, correct. We're going Shadow Flame, boys. Let's get it on there. And with 5 kills to his name, you can see what he can do with just a little bit of damage. He is hitting peak Ahri strength where he can roam across the map, 1v1 anyone who's not Cassante, and really punish Nigma for trying to make these plays. Now, Boda has made his way down early to get this dragon on deck. He's given up top lane pressure for it, but I don't think Dsyre really want to fight him.
I think that he's given up top lane turret. It's not just pressure, and Emperos with TP going to look to go back to base. Could teleport to the spot side if NGX wanted to overforce down on that turret, for example. I mean, you are getting to see, I want to talk about this mid matchup as well a little bit, the sort of difference between roaming mid laners and laning mid laners. The Hast was winning mid lane when it was the 1v1. Even when people came to the mid lane, the Hast had the advantage. But Zonyx has done just a better job at roaming. 5-0 and 2 has 7 kill participation out of his team's 9. This is the 1 and 6 that the Hast has got. Making presence on the map felt and impacting how the rest of his team are going to be able to play out this game.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, so often when I see an Ahri just slot in, especially in a late pick, just, well, we need something to play around. We need a mid laner to finish this comp. We don't really know what mid laner, but we need a champion to play in this lane. So we're going to pick Ahri. We've got a Jax, we've got a Dsyre that you can carry through them. But Zonyx is being that spearhead for Dsyre to get them through this early stage where Itonov does not yet have a kill to his name. And Emperos was actually losing out in the top lane matchup. They have had to rely on this Ahri to keep them in this one. Dsyre, they're holding on to about an even gold state with a lead in the kills, but this mid lane has been so impactful. And I do like to rag on the Ahris, but I've got to give credit to Zonyx here.
Yeah, credit where it's due. Has definitely done his part so far through this game. Going to see if those charms continue to be seemingly heat-seeking. And again, just to add some more colour to this matchup specifically, the regions going head-to-head with one another. PT Nationals, this team was a Pool 1 seed coming in to this group. They're the team that were expected, on paper, to make it out of the group in first position, uncontested. NGX, Pool 4, so the least likely of all 4 teams, of our 4 teams in this group, to have made it to the knockout stage. Of course, they're both in this tiebreaker scenario, but definitely very different expectations for these 2 teams coming into it, and then fighting in a 2-3 tiebreaker. Going to be very important for both of their regions. The PT Nats get a first seed straight in to the EMEA Masters main stage. Of course, the Arabian League itself fighting to have that right given to themselves.
Yep, absolutely. Dsyre carrying the weight to that region. Arabian League trying to build their reputation still, as down comes the Herald from Rilek. And we see everyone converging on this lane. The top laners coming back to watch what could be a potential blowout over the objective. Pabu over the wall, always looking for the backliners, and Dsyre will stand very respectfully back and will let the Herald just get damage.
Tier 1 remains standing. Is going to give NGX points to play from through the remainder of this game. You can see this gold graph though, really nice that we get this one in game. Emperos on this side lane has been the real importer of gold on the map. Managed to take that top turret and has now secured himself a bot turret as well. You can see that that's largely reflected in the damage as well. Our solo lane is certainly making a large damage proportion so far through this game.
And I think the last time we showed this graph, Boda was way ahead of everyone, right? He was like 3,000 ahead of Emperos. Now they're actually very slightly Emperos favored. So the Jax has certainly caught up. He has gotten out of that troublesome laning phase and is well on his way to becoming that late game threat that he was by about 12 minutes the last time they played. He's still going to get there. He is still a massive Jax aficionado and is using that side lane pressure very well, right? Picking up the towers in top lane, in bot lane, and Dsyre are not offering themselves up to be caught, to be picked and punished while he's doing that.
Baron on the board, 22 minutes into this game. Nothing to separate these two teams. Baron taking capability of both of these teams really rests on their AD carries. Both Kai'Sa and Dsyre can be able to shred through that. So we're not looking at this double marksman composition that can quite quickly take down a Baron if you get caught slipping. Dsyre the ones with the first move up to this big purple worm. Drake spawning in a minute's time. So with both teams on just one dragon apiece, not too much expectation on that bot side. But there's a real opportunity for a team to make a sneaky macro play, secure themselves that Baron, and maybe move a little bit further ahead in the game.
See Dsyre considering looking for the engage there. They know Dahast is on the bot side, and the Syndra, if they TP in without a close ward, they don't really have mobility to get into range, and they might put themselves in more danger than they were before. Dsyre would love to get this tower down. Cassante so scary. Lee Sin as well. You want to have yourself up for a kick. And Dahast with this much time to play with is actually going to find that counter turret in bot lane.
Take a look at the quick overlay as well, checking out over Dahast specifically. 96 stacks on the Syndra, so just 4 away from that pivotal 100 breakpoint where your ultimate becomes an execute. Some of those changes to the Syndra in her most recent changes means that she now has an ultimate execute when she reaches 100 stacks, and when she reaches 120, gets herself a mini Rabadon's effect as well. So bonus AP going to be very, very powerful for the Syndra. That's why you see her build majority flat AP. The Void Staff here early on, not the worst item. Would love to see a Rabadon's though.
Yeah, since we have TP's back into building as well, Dsyre really would love to get this tower, but they still don't feel like they can commit to it. Instead, they're going to pivot onto the dragon. Won't be a soul point for them. Looks like probably uncontested by Nigma Galaxy as well, who are instead moving on to that top side, placing vision down into the Barren River, collecting some farm in the lanes. But the question is there actually a clear scaling advantage in this game? It's been fairly slow, and both teams have been willing to step back and give away space and not force an early fight. With Syndra, Kai'Sa on one side, and then Dsyre, Jax on the other. Does any team really feel favored going past the 35-minute mark?
I do quite like NGX's composition solely because Isonoff is going to have such a hard time trying to auto-attack versus 4 screens away Void Seekers. Syndra, who can scatter you from outside of your auto-attack range. No Ghost either for Dsyre, so it's really difficult for Dsyre to put down those auto-attacks as Zonix, ulti.
Pabu wanted to force the ult there, but Zonix holds fast and gets the Lee Sin kick out anyway. Will be fine himself. And Nigma Galaxy will apologize and head back to their side of the jungle. No harm done. A lot of vision there to clear out for Dsyre as well. And you can see they're looking. Nigma Galaxy is still looking, and Pabu is still always the progenitor of these plays. But Dsyre are playing so respectfully around him. Always ready for him to come out. Picks like the Ahri, the Jax, the Sejuani. It's hard to pin these guys down, man.
And this is when you're relying on your veterancy as well, just to make sure that you know that you can keep that level head. It's also kind of telling of the stakes of this game, right? For one of these two teams, their entire season is over off the back of this game.
Oh, Emperos forced into stasis. Out comes the Rilek ultimate, gets a flash out of Clowns, and Nash now trying to get back to the team. Some ults are dropped, some heavy buttons pressed, but ultimately no one even takes that much damage. They will retreat. It's as we said, right? They are still so wary of just throwing this one away at the drop of a hat.
Big win, though, for NGX. 4 of the 5 ultimates on side for Dsyre, 3 out of the 5, excuse me, all used. But importantly, they're all engaged tools. That depth charge down, Glacial Prism down as well. NGX have got a lot more tools to try and work with, specifically Clowns. You can try and find a flank angle here. That Magnet Storm could be crucial.
Not on vision. Get over that wall with the Hex Flash. Could be devastating. He's channeling it. He's going for the backline. Watch for the carries. In goes Pabu. Pressuring onto Dsyre, but can't get the kill. Has to go Golden. There's no way he makes it out. Meanwhile, Zonix has been taken down on the other side. Emperos unleashed on a Boda without any resistances left. He's already gone all out. Jax looking for some revenge from that laning phase. And Dsyre clutch it out. The engage came through from Nigma Galaxy, but they couldn't make it work.
Looks like they just left the backline completely open. As much as Clowns and Pabu go forward, they just give a free route into the backline, and it's Nash making his debut in this 2023 year. Still rookie year out, finds his hook onto the backline, opens up for an ulti onto Dahast as well. A really, really powerful play from the Nautilus support. Gives Emperos away back into the game as well, into the fight as well. Yes, we get to see Rust walk away, but fight largely won already.
Absolutely, and now the gold lead finally into Dsyre's favor. They have been dragging back the lead that Nigma built up through the early game, all through this mid stage. Now they have 1,000 lead to play with. They've got a Baron buff as well. They can finally get aggressive on these waves. They can stack up, let the minions do the defense for them. And Nigma Galaxy can still look for openings, can still look for catches if Dsyre get a bit overconfident. We saw that last game on their split pushes. Maybe get a little bit sloppy, but they are not nearly as far ahead today. I think the pressure is going to maybe keep them from doing that.
Definitely got my ex-rookie supports confused there. Nash much more tenured than a rookie. Been playing since 2019, yeah. So shout out and apologies for that one. But nevertheless, still finding those crucial engages and definitely making the impact on that Nautilus now with that advantage and the winning team fight having gone their way. You see Dsyre feeling a little bit more liberal out on the map. Definitely more confident, pushing into this NGX jungle, kind of force vision down and Baron at their backs. If they can start breaking open the base of all things, that'd be great, but these tier 2 turrets are the first port of call.
Oh, Nash, still not very tanky. Kick back, there's no way he gets out of that one. Dsyre lost one, can they find one back? If they can get Pabu down, that all-important shot caller traded as Boda drops lower and lower. Aitanoth still strong on Dsyre. He played that last dragon fight well, and he's dealing with the pressure now. Clowns is in. They do get the Jax down. It's going to be another trade. Both teams throwing gut punches at each other, but the towers, the turrets, the structures are going for Dsyre.
2 for 2. Base not broken, but a structure taken all the same. Both are able to limp away, and Aitanoth doing a lot of damage in these team fights. We're not seeing that long-range poke really threaten this Dsyre at all. And whilst the crux of this fight was fought on the right-hand side here of the jungle, it's actually the important part happening by that tower. Aitanoth 3 hitting on this top side, soloing out Clown, soloing out Boda pretty much individually here, making sure that the fight that took place in the jungle was actually a 4 versus 3. And by the time they try and reconvene, you can see Boda's already half HP. That turret's able to go down as well. So 2 for 2 overall. But again, we're seeing the power of this Dsyre, even if it's not necessarily favored in this particular composition. If you can find angles to find auto attacks, it's definitely going to hurt.
Yeah, that early, the Kraken Slayer plus Lord Dom's just savaging Boda, despite the lane lead this Cassante had. I dare say Jax and Dsyre do not have too much trouble burning through that frontliner at this stage, as now the Dragon has started. It's already gone. Recollected for Dsyre. Pabu couldn't get a look in. And this Italian squad really started to come into their own here. Pokes and prods coming out from Nigma, but they are so heavily on the back foot. The Baron just about falling off now. And it wasn't a massive gold lead accrued by Dsyre over the course of it, but it is still more of a lead than they had before.
Not take any advantage. We've been briefly getting looks at the gold throughout the game. There was a massive peak for NGX, but unfortunately nothing of the such for Dsyre. We're more than happy that they've got some sort of semblance of an advantage now.
Moving on to this tower. Jax trying to get that Demolish proc off, doesn't quite find it. The Hast is always threatening, and then Pabu still on the side. Could look for the kickback with a lovely hook from Nash. Stifles that attempt. Emperos looks for a counter, stunned up by Clowns. Both supports doing a great job at preventing anything interesting from happening. As the TP arrives from Zonix. You see Dsyre happy to look for a fight, but Nigma maybe know that they don't have too much time to sit around and wait.
The angles for Parbu are really difficult to try and find. Wherever you go, there's a Sejuani ready to knock you up, a Nautilus ready to fire a hook at you as well. So even if you land that resonating strike, you follow it up, you're getting CC'd before you're able to ward hop, before you're able to find that crucial target with a kit flash. Parbu needs to switch up the game plan a little bit here, try and find some flank angles, and as much as it may be sacrilege for a Lee Sin to swap to a sweeping lens, a couple more control wards in his inventory to try and spot out a path into a backline might well be necessary.
I see the Hast recalling with 2 needlessly large rods for a dude, and I'm sweating. I'm a little scared to see that one happening. He is TPing out. He doesn't have it. Didn't have the cap just yet. He's close, and I want to know how many stacks he has as well. If he had 97 before, he's got to be there. Yeah, he's got to be. So once he gets that Rabadance, his AP is going to rocket through the roof. And even those frontliners from Dsyre are going to have to be scared. He got the early Void stuff too.
Once you hit 120, it just goes away. You are just ascended, essentially. It's like level 16 Kale. There's nothing really else to happen afterwards. Death Cap then finished up TP to a top wave. Just finished his Death Cap. And yeah, you know what? He is, because that Baron spawns in a minute's time. Probably could have walked it on out.
He was not in a hurry, to be clear. There was no... He did not need to do that one. Yep.
So we'll have to make sure that we're getting the Hast into these team fights at the very least. I think I heard from production that Syndra had finished it all off at 28 minutes into the game, so we've had full ascendancy for the last 4 minutes. So again, reminder, we've now got an execute on Syndra's ultimate and a bonus 45% magic damage between, or flat AP, excuse me. Flat AP, very different important distinctions.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild if it was just magic damage.
Plus between the passive and the death cap, so a lot of bonus AP for Syndra.
Yeah, a big damage, I believe, is going to be occurring as Emperos once again on the split push is going to get to that turret that he couldn't quite get last time. Boda sent into 1v1 him. It's a bit of a thankless task for anyone on Nigma to try and deal with the Jax at this stage. But Boda probably best suited for it, and Dsyre heading into that Baron River, trying to threaten, trying to go back to that 1 for the split push threat that they used so well against Nigma last time. Oh, Parbu. Oof, that stings, man.
And he's not got really an AMR to speak of. That Merc Tread's about all in his inventory, but versus a 3-item Ari at this stage, it definitely hurts. And with that chunk, Dsyre, they've already started up this Baron. It's 5k, and can Parbu even walk through the front door to get there?
Clowns is in, but the Baron's already done. Can they find the fight? No. Rust follows it up, and Nash drops low. Clowns engaged by Emperos. Kicked back on the Jax, who does have stasis if needed. Chooses to flash instead. If Dsyre can just get away with the buffs, they can call it one. The Hast is in with the stun. He wants to get that AP down. Try to do some late game damage, but Parbu's in and he gets kicked right back out of there himself. Dsyre is just uncrackable on the retreat. Such great disengaged play, and they'll walk away with 5 Barons.
Nobody dies for Dsyre. The Italian nationals walking away wearing purple on all 5 members. It's a valiant effort from NGX, but you can see Nash, Zonix, they know what the job is. Keep them away from the Baron. As much as Rust dashing on in here might have been able to do a lot more damage had that first Void Seeker not have gone wide. The AP Kai'Sa largely capped on her damage when she doesn't have that W available. As you mentioned, perfectly, we got to see Dsyre play with their health bars. Emperos jumped in to buy space for Nash to get on out, and then jumped back out again when he knew that he needed to. Wearing purple once again, this second Baron, you would love to see Dsyre do more than just take tier 2s.
The Hast now flashless, tried to get aggressive to continue that fight, but couldn't get it done. Now vulnerable on the backside. No Zhonya's, a single Merc Treads in terms of defensive options here. And Dsyre, with the Baron buffs, can keep pushing those waves once again. They've got an Ocean Soul to play with. Parbu has not been able to get in for steal opportunities so far. Dsyre have been playing so well around the objectives, and they're going to start one more up.
As hard as we say it would be, Aetanoth, 4 items.
He's in, but it's taken up by Dsyre. We spoke of Aetanoth, and he showed up on the feed, secured the Ocean Soul, and now Nigma Galaxy have nothing left to get here. The jungler abandoned. Dsyre can put no foot wrong in the latter stages of this game, and the TPs are coming in now. Goes Aetanoth, has to drop the ultimate. Rust goes aggressive. Tried to get that one hero play. Tried to find something, anything, as his flash is matched by Rilek. They'd love to get the stun, and Emperos is following it up. The Haas has a scatter the weak, but does he have any damage? Remember, no flash, no options. Dsyre just cracking them one by one. The base awaits, and the knockout soon after.
One Baron, one fight, one soul later, and Dsyre secure their spot in the knockout stage. Friday will be their day to join their Italian compatriots in the main stage. The final touches on this game to come.
Dsyre just ignoring Boda. He had such a better laning phase. The comeback against the Empiros Jax looked like it could be massive for them, but the rest of the map stepped up when they needed it, and Dsyre toying with their food right now. Pabu, he could not lead the Nigma Galaxy team to victory. It will be an end in playoffs for him. And the Arabian lead second seed, Dsyre, well earned. And I guess the